I'm curious what you think about, like, as we do introduce AI, you might have alluded to this a little bit. Like, are we moving to the point where soon, and I'm curious where you see this all evolving, we get to the point where we ask the AI to consider paths that we wouldn't normally think, that a human being wouldn't have considered. These Bayesian examples of you and I given a problem, and humans we answer one thing, but by Bayesian probability, it's a ridiculous answer we gave. It's almost like which is safer, the drive to the airport or the flight. Humans would go, "Oh my gosh, the drive is safer," but it's not even close. But do you think we get to that point where it's not just sort of the rote activity, but it's a little bit more intelligent work? And I'm wondering if you see things evolving in that direction. That's where most people like to debate, where that line.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. So I can say today, for the so if we look back even a week, in the last week, I'm looking at one of our dashboards right now, but we've had about 145 cases that have been autonomous. Now, we're not at the level yet where we take destructive action or like we wipe someone's, cell phone or their corporate device remotely. But we then also dig out. So we took about 30,000 human investigations and we benchmarked that against what Hero AI would actually do. So we used really large data sets and then we watched this for about 2, 3 months now. And so when we finally turned it on, for those use cases that are kind of high frequency, but still we wanted to have eyes on. A good example is let's say that any of our SRE or cloud ops engineers log into AWS. To us, that is an audit function, right? Like we want to see every time someone logs in, and then we, from a zero trust perspective, we got to make sure, okay, they have privileged access that somebody has reviewed and approved. So it's a ticketing system with an approval process, right? And then we also want to make sure they're on a trusted device. So that's another lookup. So if you add all of these, like it ends up being like 10 checks and balances just for that one alert. Now, we have always, as humans, we have tagged it as a true positive, meaning that it was a true alert, but not a threat, but still positive from a signals and detection perspective. But what AI is doing and what it's telling us it's a true negative, right? Because you shouldn't really report on this because every time we have it and because of all the underlying controls, it is saying like, no, no, Mike, you and your team, these are not like true positive alerts, even though they're completely benign. So I think if you're looking at it from a threat, it's a false positive. If you're looking at it from a GRC audit perspective, then yeah, maybe it is a true negative. So we're looking at how we're tagging, and are we looking at it from a threat detection, or we're looking at it from a GRC perspective, if that helps. But just one of the many different use cases, right? When we're starting to look at how we're tagging data.